Good evening, televiewers. You are welcome to another edition of Prime on my Media Prime. Traditionally, Tuesday editions are dedicated to discussing issues touching on relationship and marriage. And this evening, we are going to be spending lavishly, heavily on a lady and her family before marriage. Is it advisable? This inspiration actually was caught from a video that is making rounds on social media by Apostle Johnson Suleiman, who says that many men have ended up very poor because they took up the responsibilities of taking care of ladies at a very, very tender age, even when they were not married to them. Secondly, on this edition of the program, we are going to be looking at the traps that we find ourselves in trying to have a dealing or a relationship or a working relationship with a divorced partner or an ex boy or girlfriend. It always leads us to many traps. We already are aware of what Nigerian actress Mercy Johnson is going through with the former wife of the current husband, who is almost crying out very loudly that the husband, who is now the husband to Mercy Johnson, is not taking care of their children. Is it true, or is just blackmail? So what are those traps that we should not fall into in trying to deal with our former girl or boyfriends or our divorced wives and husbands? We are discussing these two topics with our panelists who are in the studio with us this evening. We have Apostle Ambe Valentine Ngwa, who is our permanent consultant, and also the national president of the Cameroon Pentecostal Association. Just to use this opportunity to say congratulations to this association that during this weekend had the opportunity of training hundreds of Cameroonians in agribusiness with the intentions of equipping them with knowledge and skills to become better farmers, so that they can turn the economy of Cameroon around. Apostle, we're glad to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. Thank you very much for the appraisal. Good evening, Cameroonians, and welcome to this powerful edition of Prime Hour. We are so glad to be here today, and thanks to all those who supported us with their prayers and their calls and their encouragement to have carried out that seminar there in Tico, training at least 250 farmers who are still excited, calling us till date and appreciating us for such an initiative. There are many more seminars and training programs coming ahead, and we are not just ending at the training, we're going to be empowering the farmers also to produce so far what they have learned.
We also are in the company of Apostle Alfred Esingie, who is also the Secretary General of the Cameroon Pentecostal Association. We're glad to have you, Apostle.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, my fellow panelists. It's really a blessing to always come up here to talk on important things that are helping the lives of people, because that is exactly what we live for. It's going to be very terrible that we only tell people about God, but we can't make them to live the life of God. So this evening we're going to be talking about other things that are going to benefit people and families.
Okay, we also are in the company of Apostle Lefor Divine. They call him the Love Doctor, all the way from Boya, Southwest Regional Capital. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo, and good evening to my fellow panelists. And I want to say good evening or good day to all the viewers of my Media Prime, wherever you're watching all over the world. It's another opportunity to be here again today. I'm glad to be here all the way from Boya. And I believe the topics are quite interesting, and we're going to do justice to it as usual. And wisdom, knowledge, and understanding will be gained again in this wonderful conversation that we shall have, and light will shine. And I want to appreciate all those who have been fervently following and celebrating and appreciating all what we do here. May God continue to bless you, and we are hoping to please keep giving your feedbacks, and remember, we are always here to help you even beyond the studio.
Okay, we also are in the company of Rev.Tatoh. He is the only Reverend amongst us. Everybody's an apostle. Good evening, Reverend.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. You know, there is a difference between Reverend and Apostle. Reverend is a title, while Apostle is an office. So you can have, surely he's Reverend Esingie Alfred, Reverend Apostle Esingie Alfred also, so it is actually not the same thing. Good evening.
So you are Reverend Pastor or Reverend Apostle, Reverend what?
Selling that for another.
Okay.
Good evening to our viewers. It's a wonderful privilege again for us to be on air tonight. We are so glad that the Lord has granted us this opportunity again. We know our viewers are already glued to their screens and they're already sharing the link because we are streaming live on Facebook. They're sharing the link so that others can also watch as we rub our minds together tonight to share on these wonderful topics. Stay tuned, dear viewers.
We also in the company, sure, from Bomenda spiritually with Mrs. Asanji, Yvette, who is going to be contributing from the Northwest Regional Capital. So all of you who are watching us using our Facebook handle, My Media Prime Facebook handle, please do well to also share this edition of the program with your family, relations, and friends, because what we're going to be discussing is also very paramount. Apostle Ambe, Valentine, Ngwa, we are talking about whether we should be spending heavily on a lady even before we marry them. What would you advise?
Yes, Mr. Leo, we once treated this topic and I was like the opposite person against everyone here, and I still maintain that stand.
Okay.
I stood for the fact that we should invest in ladies we are going out with, not lavishly, and also totally not to their families. I want to believe that any woman you are spending, even if it is 1 month, 2 months, 3 months with, the woman has value. And the woman must be respected. And the woman must be recognized. She is the one that occupies and satisfies your emotional vacancy at that particular moment in your life. She equally renders services that makes her look like a wife. And if at all she's rendering such services and you do not care for her, then you must be a very wicked man. Who do you think you will exploit such a lady? After exploiting her, abandon her for someone else to come and marry her. The idea that you must invest only in the woman you want to marry is an error, very big error, because I think that by the time you are spending with a lady, probably 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you are also wasting the girl's time, you are wasting her life, you are wasting her beauty, and you are also closing an opportunity for those who may want to marry her to even come into her life. So what is our own benefit if we think that we have to invest only in a woman that we intend to get married to? At that material moment of everyone's life, the person you call a fiancé, the person you call a girlfriend, the person you call a partner, as much as you guys have that intimacy, it is your responsibility to take care of her basic needs. If God has blessed you to some extent, I will also advise you to educate her. Because even if you don't want to marry her tomorrow, you should leave a legacy in her life that she may also sit and think that somebody once passed in my life that benefited me. I don't see anything wrong in investing in a woman that you are spending the rest of your time with her, you are making love to her, and you are promising her heaven and hell, or heaven and earth, sorry. And then suddenly from nowhere, you come and you say because you do not want to marry her, you cannot invest in her. Dress her like you have to dress your wife tomorrow. If you have the means, educate her, you have to educate your wife tomorrow. If you have the means, invest in her as you can invest. But you see, not lavishly, because sometimes also on the other hand, when you invest too much, you can end up being disappointed when the girl turns out to look out for somebody who is far more better than you. So I do not want people to maltreat women or treat them as if they are lesser entities in the society. I know I'm going to have a backlash from this panel, but that is what I'm here for today.
Okay, yes, Apostle, you are a brother, you have a junior brother who is going out, because the essence of this is to teach. Many persons are watching us. There are women who also have brothers. I want us to be very practical. Yes, you have a junior brother and who is going out with 1 or 2 women and cousins and a host of others. What are you telling him when it comes to spending heavily on them?
Now, when you say heavily, that's when I take exceptions.
Yeah. That's the topic.
But when you talk about spending, it's normal. Because there is love in sharing. Yes, the process of carrying out love is the sharing process. No. There is no way you will love someone without sharing. But when you get to a point where you carry loads from the family, you carry the load from the mother's side, from the father's side, and you even sponsor the girl to school, and sometimes even help the father to build house in the village, you know, all that is where we take exception to it, and we frown at it, and we say, please don't develop yourself and get a kidney failure because you did not bother to consider from the beginning that you're wasting your money and you were giving your money somewhere that may not help you. You know, sometimes the love for women can make us to do foolish things, especially if the woman is telling you sweet things, the woman has a good shape, and you know, the woman is telling you that you are the only one in her life, so you can do anything to make her feel good. And many a times it is usually the uneducated men who carry out such acts. Those that have not gone to school, those that are having complex, they always think that they will exchange that complex with money. They want to use money to cover up. Especially on my part, I'm looking at these girls who just want to exploit, because the truth about it is that most of these girls take advantage of boys who show them love. Especially, they don't like the boy, but because the boy is presenting money or presenting one thing or the other, they decide to give in only to be eating and taking care of their family. Your sisters come and they chop from the boy. Your mother has a problem, they call the boy. Your family members have problems, they call the boy, and so on. Since the boy want to keep you, is doing everything to spend on you. But we take exception for those kind of expenditures. You can take care of the girl, you can buy her pants, you can buy her maybe dresses, you can buy her maybe shoes, you can buy her maybe watch, you can buy her phone, you can buy her what she can be using for herself daily, so that she can keep herself beautiful and look good for you. But when it comes to some kind of excesses, please keep it till marriage. I prefer that you go and do even the traditional marriage before you start taking those kind of responsibilities, which may end up, because like when I say may, because in most cases it doesn't end up well, and many men are crying. Some of them even sponsor these girls abroad. They sponsor them, and not only girls, even not only boys do spend, even girls also spend. And at the end of the day, they find themselves frustrated. Either the guy goes abroad and then look for another woman and marry, or either the guy goes abroad and the pressures of life made him to divert and get married to a woman from that country to get papers, and that is where problems come in. So we are now trying to tell people that it's not as if you shouldn't care for those you are in a relationship with, but those excess spending, those extra spendings should be avoided. I insist, avoid spending excess spendings on a woman, especially when it comes to maybe educating her to school. Why would you not buy her handouts? Buy her handouts. Maybe you buy her some maybe food. Sometimes when she doesn't have food at home, you can buy that food maybe for those who are still students. But when it comes to the responsibility of school, please let the family take responsibility of all those things, because those girls sometimes, when they are under pressure, they don't know the right decisions to take. They may just take a boy because they want this boy to help them go through school, and after that she looks for a way and tell you that she doesn't love you, or she thinks that the Spirit of God is telling her that, you know, she made a mistake, and that is when she knows she made a mistake, when she has eaten every of your money, and she has even invested, used that money to keep in the bank and use it to travel abroad. These things are evil. It may hurt you tomorrow. So avoid it. Just avoid it. Just avoid it. I know love, they can't kill you. Love, they can't knock you. You know, you dey do and you don't care whether it go or not. But man, I tell you something. Any person who you don't spend for it hurts you when they leave you. That's it. So take care.
I had a discussion yesterday with some persons. They're high-profile persons, but they were also wondering that today, when we talk of Njangis, most of the girls playing the fattest Njangis in town are unmarried girls, yes. And yes. Most of them students. Mm-hmm. Where are they getting the money from?
Yes.
The money is from us now. Apostle, we take out they play Njangis more than you.
Yeah. The truth about the matter is, I have a different way we should approach this. Okay. We have to really be very careful here, mm-hmm. because to me, My first issue is we are here to empower both men and women. And every year, every day I'm hearing they're crying out there, women empowerment, this is empowerment. And immediately we are now start talking, and automatically it looks like in a relationship, money flows from one direction only. It's getting me very, very uncomfortable.
Okay.
Yes, because sometimes a man is even in a relationship where he's also a student. He's a student and the girl is a student. Maybe he's wrapping up his school and planning. We see these things happen, even the university and everything. But you will discover that this same person will be expecting money from another student, although they are maybe in the same kind of environment, all of that.
The parents give money and then you take care of the girl.
Yes, you see, so it's like and it looks like it's something that, to me, unfortunately, girls feel like that is their gain in a relationship, while maybe for guys, they feel that it's the sex. And all of that.
Are we suffering from a community syndrome? Because to me, I've learned from many persons out there that if you are going out with a girl, maybe in the West, when you guys go out for a date, you pay the drink and she pays for it.
Yeah, most of the times in most of those communities.
Are we living, we the men in Africa, are we living under a bondage?
Yes, I think that's where I was heading to. It's actually a mental problem, a mindset problem. Because I have one of my friends who went out and she was shocked. Friends go out in a group and sometimes they share. They finish paying. Sometimes you go out in a distance and you even share half of the bills or you pay the bills and all of that. But, well, we cannot just erode our culture. We have a culture of sharing in Africa. True. And a man is a provider and all of that. But when it now comes as if a relationship is a job, it has become like a job. I hear a lot, it has become like a job. You will hear a girl will say, a girl once said to me that, okay, what is my own gain in this thing? Like,
where are we doing?
Yes, what is my own gain? Like, tell me straight, we go, now I go gain now waiting for a year. If I agree you now.
Now love at the chop.
Yes, no, very plain. So you will discover, and this happens over and over, and it's a mindset that is carried out that you will discover that it's affecting. You heard about the guy who slaughtered his girl in Bambili? A bike man who took his time, paid, hustle, pay a girl's school fees, take care of the house, even plus rent. And on coming, the girl say, you know, be my type. And these things happen over and over. And even when they don't say it directly, you will see that they will leave and go and get married to somebody and they say, I know we really tell you, say, we'll say even in church, somebody will say, I know we really tell you, so we'll go marry and all of that. So we have to be very careful. But follow what Apostle Esingie said, let's use biblical terms. The Bible says, where a man's treasure is, there will his heart be. So whether we like it or not, there is giving in love and relationship. For God so loved that he gave. And I think in a true relationship, it will be both ways. It must not be equal. It must not mean that I give you bread for 2.5 and you give me for this. Just like in other relationships, there's some girls who give more because they have. In fact, generally, you will discover, even when you interact with girls, a girl who truly loves a guy often makes less demands. Most of the times, they make more demands from people they don't care about. Sometimes you see girls be with a guy, take money from that person, ask, and then go and spend on the person that they truly care about. So you will discover that even if that girl does not have, the girl will make effort to also give to you. So we want to make it very plain. And following the topic on heavy giving, I think this thing comes, okay, you ask about Njangi, where does a student, Mr. Lee, we see all kinds of things. You need to see the kind of flat screen I see in a student's house in Moliko Boya. I don't have that kind of flat screen. No, I'm just saying that.
There's flat screen
and there's flat screen, Mr. There's flat screen. And I see those kind of things. You see, and then house in Moliko, one room now like this with just kitchen and toilet is 500,000.
Yeah.
So yes, something else. And you will see some of these people have apartments. 700-something thousand girls.
Well, Apostle Ambe, are you saying that they should take care of these girls like this? Some of them have 3 Njangisen. They should give.
Is their right?
It's the right of the child. Now, how do we understand this, that the community has made ladies to know that when you are in a relationship, you should be at the receiving end, and the man to know that you should be at the giving end?
Mr. Leo.
Women empowerment, but it is not affecting that area.
Mr. Leo, honestly, I don't agree with that grammar at all.
Which grandma? My grandma.
The grammar of saying that when you are in a relationship with a man, the man is supposed to take a certain level of responsibility over you. I disagree 1028%.
Okay.
I don't agree. What is there is that when you are not yet married, you are your parents' responsibility. If anybody is giving you something, it's an ex gratia. It's supposed to be just sharing that Apostle Lefor is talking about, that two of you can share. A woman who is in a relationship and does not really have to be able to share is visible. She can come and buy 3 oranges and hold. Yeah. Not people who enter in a relationship and it's like they have entered into a poverty alleviation venture. That's how some people approach relationship. And if you are a man, you're in a relationship and you are yet to marry the lady, this is the risk. The risk factor in it is not only about the giving even. You can blur the person's reasoning, the person's emotional intelligence with those gifts. Somebody may end up accepting to marry because anytime she turns around and by the moment she claps her finger, you have given. The moment she lacks whatever, you've given. That will end up getting married to the person because of the material interest she has in that relationship and not because she loves the man or she sees that there is purpose in this marriage that she can settle for. So honestly, what is there is supposed to be, in fact, you can't say there will be absence of sharing, but let it be very clear that you as a man, if you are spending on a lady prior to marriage, put it at the back of your mind that maybe you are a humanitarian. Just say I'm an NGO. That is helping. I'm an NGO. So that tomorrow, if the thing does not turn out to be marriage, you are not frustrated. Yeah. If you condition your mind that way, it will be different. Even in addition, I think this one happened, the one in Boya, it happened after the one in Bambili. One guy, in fact, they decided and stabbed the lady because he had been hustling, putting his little sauce together, and by the time the lady was graduating 3rd year, she began to see herself that she's high class and cannot marry a mechanic. So these things, whether it is lavish or it's not lavish, let it be put into the minds of people that if somebody is giving you something, it is an ex gratia, there is no obligation. Before you marry the person, there is no obligation. Now, families should also be able to help culture their daughters and their sons too, in fewer cases, the son. Women are supposed to, at least when you send it, let's say, we were talking about the university, you send your daughter to the university, do the best you can to make sure you provide for the needs of that child to a certain extent. You won't have a daughter in the university and the child comes back home with iPhone 11 and then you shut your mouth and you're looking at the person. Say, no, some of your friend give you, some of your friend what? You need to probe into the matter and see within what context, because some of those gifts are corrupt in nature and they can corrupt your child, and they can. And when we're even talking about this thing, is it not the materialism that has led many of these ladies to fall into the dragnet of cultists? Occultism has been, some of them have been dragged into this because they don't want to live within their means. They want to see a man that can provide for them anytime, anyhow. So families should learn to give honor to their daughters. When you see such a thing, probe into it. If it is a gift coming from somebody that you don't really have a good definition of the relationship in terms of, let's say, a relative or something, make sure you ask your daughter to refund it, to return it. Because the aspect of wanting to live beyond the means of what the family can provide will lead your daughter to do things that are going to be unseeming. They will get to the levels where you will not even be able to appreciate that this is really the daughter I gave birth to, by virtue of how your girl child will come back home. The very house from where she left to go to the university becomes a house that she looks like she's skipping off from physics. She's like, this house, she's looking at it because she has been paid a good apartment and she's living in the university. So the family too has a big role to play. I said, I don't know whether it's here, I said the other time that within the ambit of the law, there is a responsibility that is given to somebody who collects something in contemplation of marriage. That's the 1981 ordinance on marriage. It says, anybody who collects something in contemplation of marriage is called a depository. And how does it happen? If at the end of the day the relationship does not work, you have the obligation to refund whatever you collected. So the law is clear about it. You should refund whatever you collected in contemplation of marriage. So that's why I said, if you as a man, you are giving, make sure you have conditioned your mind that you are an NGO that is doing humanitarian work. You, the lady also who is collecting, make sure that you are also civil in the kind of gifts you accept, because some of the gifts will come and corrupt your life. They will come and make you to not see clearly. Some bourgeois will come and pump you with money. When you have entered their net, they will take and then maltreat you for the rest of their lives. for the rest of your life. So this thing, for me, there's a very clear balance we have to give to it. You are your family's responsibility as long as you're not yet married to that man. And you must accept it so and function with that mindset.
Okay, let's get the first reaction from Ms. Asanji. Yvette from Bomena.
Greetings, Mr. Leo. Greetings to you. Greetings to my co-panelists, and special greetings to our televiewers. Mr. Leo, we live in a society where people have changed the norms of relationship. In fact, women have monetized relationships and men have sexualized relationships. It is difficult, virtually difficult, to get to see a man in a relationship and the lady say no sex before marriage and the man is okay with it. We have very few of those kind of men. And we also have very few of the cases where the man says, you are my responsibility only after we are married. And so does not spend on the woman. And the woman still stays in that relationship. Now, the reason is because men and women, they have changed how relationships are supposed to be. They build relationships based on their selfish needs. I'm coming in because I need somebody to give me regular sex. And then the other person is coming in because I need somebody to give me, to be a regular source of income. This is not relationship. You cannot call this a relationship. It is more of a business. I give you what you want and I get what I need. So if you want to call it relationship, then it must not be based on these two factors. But today, it's difficult to have these two out of relationships. I said the other day, if we truly have to build genuine relationships, we might need to remove money, remove sex from it. If a relationship can go on without money, without sex, then you will know exactly, you will know truly if they have intentions of building lasting relationship. But if it's about the benefits of the now, what you want to benefit is not even lasting benefits. It's something that you want to benefit for the moment. If the benefits are of the present, the now, then that relationship is more of a temporal relationship. So when I say that men are not supposed to spend on women, most women get very angry when they hear it. I am a woman. And so some men will even ask me that, so you could discourage, some women could even ask me that, so you could discourage your husband from spending on you in those days. I understand it. When we talk about expenditure here, we mean carrying heavy expenses.
Okay, carrying heavy expenses, Apostle Ambe, Valentine. But are you very comfortable, or have you noticed that so many women are very selective in engaging into relationships, even pending a marriage, because they are looking for he who can take care of them? That is, it's like business venture. I go in for what gives me biggest profit.
Mr. Leo, I love the way my fellow panelists have presented their points. But they are failing to understand that we have a cultural identity. This society we have grown under is not Europe. And that's the reason why in Europe, once you are 18 years old, we tell you leave your father's house. We have men at the age of 30 still asking for fufu from their mother's pot. Our cultural upbringing is different. We know clearly that in Africa, women depend on men. As much as we are not preaching that they should depend on men, but the cultural orientation of our women believe that men are the ones that have to take certain responsibility. As a matter of fact, manhood in Africa is not when you grow beards or when you are able to impregnate a woman. Manhood in Africa is the acceptance of responsibility. That's why if you go to the Maasai region in Kenya, you are being initiated into manhood. They can put at least 100 cows. You have to run on those cows without falling on the ground. Once you run through, it shows that you are a man. And when you are able to drive cows in the bush independently and control them away from wolves and lions, they consider you a man in the Maasai region in Kenya, which means manhood is the acceptance of responsibility. And that is the orientation we have here in Africa. You are trying to bring a Western culture here, and we have fought against Western culture on this platform. saying that we cannot practice white wedding here because it's a Western culture. There is a way our African women know who we are. See, we are trying to mix this thing. Number two, I have grown to understand that you have an urge over somebody you teach. That's the reason why no matter how educated you are, once you see your teacher, he's always sir. If your teacher still has grade 1 certificate and you have PhD, he remains sir, because he who teaches you has edge over you. Number two, he that spends on you, or he that wants to exercise authority over you, should be the one to be responsible over you. When we talk about men being authority, authority is not just a title. Authority is not just a position. Authority is the acceptance of certain responsibilities. And if a man has to exercise his authority, it's not to shout at the woman that sit down here, stand up here, cook this food here. Before you will tell her to sit down here, stand up here, cook this food here, you must exercise your authority as a man and as a father to make sure that you give her the security, the protection, and the care that she deserves. And that is where we are trying to miss it. It is not a societal orientation. It's a biblical responsibility. That's why the Bible says a man that does not take care of his own house is worse than an infidel.
Apostle, you are missing something here.
Okay, clarify me.
The topic says that should you do this before marriage?
Mr. Leo, it's not before an issue concerning marriage.
That is a topic. Oh.
Yes.
But the Bible talks about a married person here. That investment you are talking about is for your wife.
This is what I'm trying to make you understand. You are a man over a woman. That material moment that you are over that woman, you are an authority over her.
You are already a husband, even when you are not married.
No husband. You are an authority. It does not make you a husband. Are you equal with a woman when you are going out with her?
I don't know.
I'm asking her.
Are we not talking about?
Yeah, I'm asking if at all you are going out with a woman.
Are we not living the age of women's right?
No, I'm talking about the fact that you are going out with a girl.
They no longer say
have equal right in that relationship.
They no longer say behind a successful man. They say beside.
No, that's grammar. We are talking about reality. What you say beside? When did behind come to beside? It's still the evolution of grammar. We're talking about reality. Some of you are going out with girls here. When you go out with girls that you are not married to, you will tell the girl, don't go out of here by 8 o'clock. You are exercising authority over your head balance. For exercise authority over a girl you are not married to, I don't want to see you do that nonsense there. She will stand like this. She is obeying you as who? As who? You want to exercise the authority of a husband over a woman that you are not married to. And you don't want her to enjoy the benefit of an authority. Men are greedy. Men are wicked. You people are heartless. You will tell that girl she may drown because hey, stop that nonsense. That's how some of our brothers talk to their girlfriend. Hey, pass go inside. Exercise the authority of a husband to give command, shape the woman, correct her, instruct her. When it comes to exercise the authority of taking care,
Dragging her out of the
that authority dies. So your authority is only you can tell a girl to sit down here. What are you doing here? You have not cooked the whole of it. What are you doing here? When you are going out with a girl you have not eaten, and the girl is somewhere, you call her and say, hey, I say, Suzanne, what are you doing there? Have I eaten this morning? That's an authority exercise of a husband, but yet you are not a husband. And now that it is time for you to exercise the authority of a man in taking responsibility, you will say that because you are not a husband. How do you people see men in the society? Una fight me here today. People will fight me here today, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Most of us are saying that we are authority. Hey, I'm not be a friend for the marriage. I'm not be a friend for the relationship. I'm not be a friend. When I say stop, no do something, no do. You are giving authority a boyfriend. Who are you? If you are a boyfriend, don't exercise the authority of giving command, because you also exercise the authority of caring for the woman. They're not trying that for the platform. Don't try it here.
Okay. Now, when a boy is at the stage of fiance, where should the limits be? Because you counsel them now.
Yes.
At that point, can they start taking care of the?
In the church, they don't really even accept you to come close.
Okay. You just observe.
Especially in the
So, Apostle, where do you see this authority?
conservative
Where in
churches.
church you people say,
Yes.
I've been wondering.
Yes, they don't really.
in church, they don't even come close
They
now.
don't
So,
come
where,
close.
where,
I know the
So-
nature of men. Because
no.
all these guys sit here when they had their girlfriends in those days. They will tell you if you go out by 7 o'clock, you go, yeah, me.
No, the thing is that, you know, in the church system, they don't allow you to even go close or start having some dealings. Any serious dealings you want to have, the pastor must know about it. So it helped to regulate some excess spendings. But those who go behind and want to be doing some kind of things, especially when touching is involved, because touching has a way it can climb on the head of somebody. You know, when you start touching a woman and the thing enter you for skin, you start behave like you be foolish man. Yes, that's exactly what happened. You know, you start taking some steps that you were not planning to take. Now, those who really spend, let me tell you the truth, they didn't spend because they like to spend. Something they were big pass. Nothing we don't grow for whole, I moving for whole. That's the truth we're talking about. Nobody would tell me that they would take 200,000, 300,000, they will give a young girl. Sometimes the girl is not even up to 22, 23. They will give a young girl and she will take it and go and eat the money and come and tell the man that money
I don't, it'd be small.
he lost. Or my friend Tifa.
Lost for her bed.
And then the boy said, "Don't worry, baby, don't worry. Baby, don't worry.
Because that money
I will look for another money. More will come from where the other one came from." And that is how some boys have ruined their businesses. People take their capital and give it to these girls because of what? The nice things these girls will tell them, especially the things that these young girls learn from Facebook today. When they do it on a man, he will spend that money before he realizes it. When we talk about the men, we may be thinking that some of the women don't also go to that extent. Some women also spend. I'm telling you, some young girls spend. They spend to an extent where you cannot imagine. Some young girls sponsor a boy to school. Boys, there are people, there are girls that are the ones paying the rent of a young boy in school. They are doing that. They are doing that. But what pushes them to do it is bigger than them. It's not just that ordinary relationship. No, there is something stronger and bigger. And that has to do with when sex is involved. Soul tie is involved. When soul tie is involved, you're going to spend that money. You will not even think about it. That is why we always tell people that before you enter into any serious relationship, please avoid sex, avoid emotionalism, so that you can think correctly and think wisely. Because when that thing has started, especially when this girl has worn that small, nice nightgown in the evening and the thing is making you one kind, and then she say, "You no go touch me. That thing will be asking me you do for me. Come on, small money will ask you for school. You know feel gear. Now you come for camp, so you one can't touch me for here." And when he say, "You no go touch me," oh my God! He said, "Don't worry." He said, "Not that I tell you." He said, "Give me a number. I will send it for you now." You know, they spend. These guys spend. These girls also spend, not knowing what is happening. Their eye they open. Now, when the person is going to another person, that is exactly what is happening out there. The pains are everywhere. It's not a joke. The pains are everywhere. I can't count how many people call me all the time and they send me messages of what is happening in their relationship. Either the girl or the boy is spending, and I want to ask, una not married? My papa they know he, my mommy they know he.
Don't do small thing for my head.
Yes, and so what? He says that he's going to see my parents. But when money enter his hand, now time we eat, you say he gets some other problem where a strong pass. So now we are trying to tell you something. Please be reasonable. Anything that must end up in marriage or seriousness, don't enter emotionally. Don't bury your whole emotions. Enter with your sense, not with your feelings. Because when you enter with your feelings, you go regret them. Many people are regretting today because they entered into relationship with their feelings. And when that feeling is no more, they are faced with realities. So I'm telling you today, that expenditure you are spending, it's a good thing. It's a wonderful thing you're spending for your loved one or the person you love or you want to marry. But please, make sure that that thing is heading for a relationship that's going to be serious. Before you see that your own best friend is going to take that girl from you. or your own best friend is going to take that boy from you. That is what is happening. I have lived in university milieus, university environments. So I can tell you what I see. I can tell you what I know. I have been talking to people for many years about marriage and relationship. So I can tell you, the pain in that thing is so serious. Many of them say they frustrated my life. The money my parents were sending for me from abroad, I used it on him. The money that, I was raising for my business, I used to go to Chantier and work, but I carry it and give it to that girl. See what she has done today. Look, it is not money that keeps relationship. Let me tell you today. Maybe you think that it is when you give money that relationship will last. Money does not keep relationship. Money can maintain relationship to an extent, but when it comes to certain things, there are certain factors that build relationship and keep them, and that has to do with values. What are the values that both of you have for each other? I'm calling your attention today. Don't stay there and begin to spend carelessly and you think that that is love or whatever. That girl or that boy, because you have seen symptoms. Some of you have seen them making calls secretly. When they see you coming, they hide it. Some of you, you are with a girl and the girl is only typing messages. It's only WhatsApping. It's only WhatsApping. When you are there with her, what is she WhatsApping? Now, who will you talk with when you there with ye? There is a problem. You are with a boy. He's only WhatsApping. You are with him and he's writing to another person. Something is wrong. Don't build skyscraper on the air. Make sure that you have enough foundation. If you are very sure that this thing is leading to marriage, where it has passed through the hands of spiritual authorities, it has passed through the hands of parents, it has passed through the hands of counselors, then you cannot conclude that this thing is heading to serious things.
Okay, let me take some messages. Good evening, sir. This is Relindis from Boya. Please send me Apostle's number. Let me send him one beer for what he just said. The men talk with the authority as who. Okay, and she's precising that I should send the MTN Momo number, please, Apostle. When they drop it, remember me too.
In paradise.
Remember me in paradise, yes. Okay, let me take some of them. Good evening to you all. I'm writing from Bamenda. Can a man really be faithful to one woman? Hi, Leonard. Good evening. I'm enjoying Apostle Ambe's vibes. Please, for his number. Maurice is writing from Tombell. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and my regards to the panelists. Nice topics there. May God inspire the speakers to educate us this evening. Asaha Vanessa, writing from Bamenda. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I really disagree with Apostle Ambe. Maxwell is writing from Bamenda. Good evening, great man of God. In the studio, not true that a man of God, this Toko. Message from Desmond from Boya. I fear this girl them now. So, good evening, Mr. Liu. I love the program. For me, spending on a woman you hope to get married is no problem. It is only bad when you go to excesses. Rogers is writing from Bamenda. Hello, Mr. Kum. Greetings to all of your panelists. I am learning from your topic, but I have this worry. What is excess? Greetings from Park Clement Gando in Quen, Bamenda. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and thanks for today's topic because it is really a call for attention. My point is that until a man pays a woman's dowry, then she is yours. But failure to do that, you are simply fighting a lost battle. Simplicity writing from Chang. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and it's not a bad thing to spend on a woman before marriage. The problem is when a man spends and forgets to invest on himself. Such men end up being abandoned. To be honest, if a man should spend on a woman and expect a return, women are funny. Bless is writing from Bamenda. Greetings to you, Mr. Liu, and to all your wonderful panelists. Your topic is very interesting. Thanks for educating the public. I agree 100% with Apostle Alfred. Mr. Liu, I had a friend who spent all his life educating a lady in Boya from 2 to a first degree certificate, and after her graduation she turned and told this guy that she is no more interested in the relationship anymore and that they are not on the same level. Mr. Liu, this guy almost died of heart attack. It took this guy over 12 years before he had the woman which he got married to today. Uncle Charles is writing from Bonamusadi. Normally, according to a relationship, nowadays, ladies solely depend on men. So if you are in a relationship, spend wisely on her, hoping you may win or lose. And if you win, you marry her. And if you lose, she goes just a game. Maurice is writing from Tombe. Good evening, Mr. Liu and everyone in the studio. Please ask Apostle Ambe if he really likes what he is saying to continue. Because I see that with this strategy, women will remain to be lazy. We want women who can do something in the absence of men. Bienvenue à Kem is writing from Buddha. Good evening, sir. This is Relindis from Boya. Please send me Apostle's number. Let me send him one beer. Okay? Apostle, you may get drunk today. Let's take a case. Now, let's take the case of a guy who is too in love with a girl to the point of even building a house for the girl's parents, and then even send
brothers of the girl abroad.
Yes, and they end up not getting married. How do you pay yourself back, or you assume that the love that you had together was good payment for it?
That is actually, you have asked a very powerful question, and that is actually what brings my approach to it. The first thing we must make very clear here is I am in no way saying that there should be no giving in a relationship until marriage. Wrong. There should be giving, because in fact there is no love without expression. But now, when we hear stories of somebody hurting themselves or even hurting somebody they've invested in, it means that what? For example, on this same platform, we all, including Apostle Ambe, we have advised young men here that be very careful. Why? Because sometimes you will hear somebody will say, after all I did, and it did not end like this, because if the law, for example, like what Reverend said, you said the law is saying that with the intention of marriage, with that mindset, there are some things that are not supposed to be collected. Even we advise our children, all of us here, even every apostle, everybody will tell you there are some gifts you refuse to take, not because you don't like it, but because you understand the entanglement that gift can bring. Somebody is taking you to school, like we are talking here, that somebody is saying that you have taken care of somebody from primary to this, and that. You are doing that for what?
Are you not the one who says they should take care, Apostle? Now you say not Dorman.
Please, no, it is well. Okay. We're coming to that, because that question still comes, what is excess? Because there's somebody that, while they were doing that, I'm sure some people were doing that, and somebody can be able to do that without too much constraint on them, while another person might have pressure doing that. Our point here is this: I can never advise or counsel somebody to put in that much investment without knowing where it's headed. I have seen a girl sit in my office and ask the man, "I be ever grease I go marry you." As I said, no, tell me for a year. Now, so say, I be don't ever open my mouth. Show me yes. One message or anything. The guy almost killed himself. The guy still said, "Now you talk for me." So I said, becoming that. He said, "No, tell me." At the same time, I heard this story. Anyway, it don't happen in my church. It was a pastor who was sharing the story that they announced a wedding of one of his daughters, and as they announced the boy and the girl, another girl woke up in church, sighed and shot keys at the man and walked out. Why? When they finally met her and all of those things, and the pastor called now that lady who walked out of the church, and this man, the man boldly asked the girl, "Me, I don't ever open my mouth. There you say, I want to marry you." But they were doing everything, and he was even. So these are some things that needs to be made clear here. And my point is that when it comes to spending, Apostle Ambe sent his wife to school. Yes, his wife. There is nothing wrong with investing in a woman. But I would advise that there is a dimension of investment that should be done when things are concrete. Because relationship, we all have said it here, that they don't do small thing onto my head, you never marry. They don't do big thing onto my head, even a big motorball, you never marry. They carry you, so my parents know ye, and so you want or two uncle, you never marry. We know all of these things, and we even see advice people that right up to the day you say yes I do, or the day there's a legal binding, you are not yet married. I'm talking about today or a traditional wedding. So this is to say that what? To protect yourself from hating somebody for life. This thing is more about self-defense. But if you know that it means nothing, because I know the truth is that not everybody, there are people who have helped people that they thought something would happen, but it never happened, and they moved on. Because not everybody thinks that you will help, that you will marry. If that's the case, then it means that you will not help anybody. You will also become stingy. But know that if you are doing it and it does not end like that, you will not be, you should be able to recover. Like you ask that question again, how do you recover from that kind of thing? You have burned houses, you have sent this person abroad and all of that. The truth is, such things will hurt. Nobody does that without any intention. But you will see that it would have been better to conclude the matters, because every human being has the right to make a choice at the end of the day. Dating and courtship, or dating is a process of knowing and understanding, and a process of discovery. I always say dating is a discovery, and I can discover that I don't want to spend my life with you. But in that discovery process, there might have been some interactions and spending. So let the spending not be what you are struggling to use to make somebody be with you. It should just be an expression of love. As long as an expression of love, you can be able to move on. If not, such thing will always end in revenge and vengeance. Okay. So let's be very careful.
Yes, I want us to stay. Now, when you see most relationships take 3/4 of the relationship where the guy is taking care of the girl, should the finances stop flowing, are we very certain that this lady will stay? Most ladies will actually depend on the guy taking care of them.
Mr. Leo, there is something I've been trying to express myself over this issue. There is a difference between an obligation in a relationship and something that somebody is just expressing. I want to repeat that. You are your parents' responsibility.
Obligation.
You are their obligation before you get married. If this guy is spending on you, let it be his free will. Let it be that he is just doing it out of love. But to say you're placing, in fact, you carry your family problems every now and then. My mother has, my father has, I need this, I need that. School fees, rent, and all those things. It is not his obligation. And I've said that if a man is accepting to take such a responsibility, let him take it from the aspect that this is just an assistance I'm giving, so that if you don't marry, if the marriage arrangement does not work tomorrow, there should not be hard feelings. That is what I want us to get clearly. If you want to say, I'm spending like this, and you are targeting marriage, and it doesn't work tomorrow, you'll be so frustrated. And that's why knives start coming out in such relationships. If people were spending like that with the understanding that I'm just trying to be of assistance, I'm just helping a fellow sister, for instance, and which is not usually the case. The issue is that when people are spending towards, they are like, I'm doing it so that they can see me as a good son-in-law. I'm doing it so that this lady can see that this is a nice husband, which a lady for herself also is supposed to, attract a nice lady. Be a nice lady by having a kind of culture for yourself. Don't accept some of those kind of gifts. Somebody will not sponsor you, and then you are not even very certain. The question I asked one the other time was, now, this man is spending on you. Take, for instance, in the course of this relationship, he has an accident and they amputate his leg. Will you still continue the relationship? She bent her head.
That is it?
Yeah, she bent her head. That, in fact, she's like thinking of how she will get married to a man that has one leg and will become more of a burden to her, because maybe the man may not be able to fend for the family any longer. But price guarantees somebody to steal one leg. Yeah, but it is different from the fact that you have already been into it, Apostle. If you are already into it, that's another ball game. But the fact that you are accepting gifts, the things that you take and swallow, at the end of the day, you say, I won't be able to marry him. Some who are very spiritual, they start telling you that God has told me. So God did not tell you when you were taking money, you were collecting money and choking. God did not tell you anything. God is not telling you, but when you have eaten the man's money and there is no, in fact, there is no more feelings for the man. So I want to still insist that in relationships, from the standpoint of the man, make sure if you are sharing, as Apostle Lefor said, we're not saying that there should not be sharing. No, there must be. But for me, it will be a bad sign if it is one-sided. If it is one-sided, it's already a very bad sign for that relationship. It looks like there's an exploitation mechanism that is already being put in place in the relationship. It should be such that from the side of the man, even if it, as we said, if the proportions may be different, from the side of the man, let it come more. But let there be some side. Let the woman at least let there be something.
For birthday phone on your own birthday, she brings you a singlet.
No, on
500.
They don't even bring on the way they put the photo and say a king was born today. That's so From the man's standpoint.
But they are playing Jangi.
That's the issue. The Jangi they are playing. Where is the money coming from? They collect, and at times some of these guys they are very smart at playing their cards.
They don't collect from you.
They collect from Peter, collect from Paul, collect from John, and then they know how to meander between the two of you. They leave from Boyana. They are going for weekend in Douala. Enter Limbe, and those kind of things. So as a man, make sure that if you are giving, if you are spending on a woman, you are sharing on a kind of humanitarian basis. Don't put your mind in it.
So that is humanitarian.
Yes. If you don't condition your mind that way, the relationship does not work out. You are going to be frustrated. You start removing knives and doing things that you wouldn't have done under normal circumstances if you had decided within you so.
Okay. Good evening, sir. I'm enjoying your program, but I'm accepting with Apostle Ambe. If you don't want to take care of a woman, don't go for them. Pastor Bison is writing from Mundemba. Good evening to everyone. Apostle Alfred is saying, the truth spend on a lady you intend to marry, but be wise because these girls nowadays cannot be trusted. I prefer you marry the lady before excess expenditure. Kasmila Ketu is writing from Bonaberry. Good evening, Mr. Liu and everyone in the studio. I'm writing from Bafusam. What if a guy that loves a girl and the girl keeps on playing him? Should he leave or keep on insisting? Wisdom is profitable to direct. Yes. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I really enjoyed the program. Please send me Apostle Ambe's number back of you. I really have to learn a lot from him. Grace from Boya. Grace, I hope you send him beer also, because the first person who asked for his number has sent the beer. Thank you very much, Relindis. Good evening, Mr. Liu and everyone in the studio. I'm Evelyn writing from Boya. I'm enjoying the show. I'm really learning a lot. Please, for Apostles number 2. Good evening, Mr. Liu and other panelists. A man can decide to support a lady before marriage, but to an extent just the girl, not her family. Any investment on a woman should be considered as a lost business in the first place. Panyol is writing from Bamenda. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the educative panelists. The topic is so educational, but for me it is good to spend, but men should spend wisely. It is Nelson Gomez writing from Sangmilima. Okay. I don't know whether Miss Yvette Asanji, her second reaction to this topic.
It's not possible that you can meet someone just today and it's like you never had any source of income, you never had any means of living. You need house rent, you need to eat, you need body lotion, you need to do your hair. In fact, if that man didn't come into your life, will your life not go on? These are some of the questions that I want women to answer. If this man that you are looking up to now financially, if that man did not come into your life, will your life not move on? Will you not make your hair? Will you not buy your body lotion? Why transfer everything onto the man just at the verge of a relationship? Relationship is not an ATM machine you want to extract money from. So men who engage in carrying expenses, because some men do that, once the mother of the girl knows that, oh, you are interested in my daughter, you want to marry her, okay, they'll start telling you things like, my mother is not feeling fine, she needs to go to the hospital, the money is coming from you. Since you are already together and we already, in fact, we love your union, just be doing things. Just start paying your bride price gradually. Start doing this, start doing that. You start spending. Then tomorrow, the lady goes, whether it is to school, maybe you send her to school, she goes to school, and later on you start hearing things like, my professor said you are not my class. My course mate said, you are not my class. I cannot even move with you on the road. And that is the beginning of problems. So we completely discourage anything like heavy expenses. Please, men, if you have that kind of money that you don't know where to keep it, better spend it on your family. At least if your family eats that money and they never even say thank you, there's no problem. They deserve it somehow. Than to take that money and put on a lady that tomorrow the same lady will use it to tell you that tell me how much you spend on me, I can pay back. I think that's one of the most painful things I can hear a lady telling a guy who has spent on her to send her to school, and then because she is now of a certain class, she now looks down on the man and start telling the man, tell me how much. Can you really pay how much somebody has spent on you? You cannot. If they want to calculate, from the pen to the school fees to the feeding to the rent. So what we're saying is that men should not spend on women. Those kind of heavy expenses. You can be caring and show love by doing one or two things, but don't carry heavy.
We should not carry heavily. 1 minute to talk about authority. We move to the second topic for tonight.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I just want to say that this authority, true, the typical African man, when he enters into a relationship, like Apostle Ambe says, wants to be in authority. And this is actually what brings also this mindset. But I think even with authority as a leading partner, that does not mean you should control somebody like you're married. The truth is, the obligations in marriage, there should be a line also in marriage and without marriage. Because if truly you also exhibit that kind of authority that looks like it's the fatherly authority that she's experiencing, you will discover that she will also demand such things. So I want to say that, because personally, I will have my expectations, but I don't think that the same kind of way I have the authority over my wife is the same way I'll have over a girlfriend. So I want to say that even for men, be very careful, because these lines are drawn in our approach and how we do things, because girls have also used the same thing. This very statement that Apostle Ambe has made is the reason why some girls have used to ask money. Say, the man, you different talk the thing, so you know, me too take care of me. If you want to deal like my pa, may behave like my pa. So I'm just saying that we should also be careful, because when we put this thing in place like that, these are the repercussions of how it's going to be. So let's balance it to men. Yes, to men. So be very careful as well to as a man, how you use your authority or how you want to exercise your authority. Thank you.
Yeah, but does it really matter? Most ladies, what they want is the money. Whatever the case, yeah.
No, the issue is that
whether you have authority or not, you can be as caring as something as a rabbit, but if you cannot foot the bills. They say, "I love for the chop." Is that not what they say?
Yeah, yes. The issue is that, Mr. Leo, there is this thing we are saying this evening. We must really be careful, because it is tricky and it has a way it can influence some ladies to miss out on a good marriage and enter into the hands of a man that they will never be happy with for the rest of their lives. There are some ladies that when a man asks their hand in marriage, their delay to even say yes is to observe how much of resources will flow from the man onto them. They'll be dragging and entering and coming in and out and coming in and out, which is not the thing you are supposed to do. What you're supposed to do is, there is a level of emotional intelligence you must deploy in the course of a relationship, and not be like a parasite. You want to be sucking the resources from a man before you accept him for marriage. When you do so, you may end up in a relationship that you regret for all the rest of your life. There are people who are ready to spend in those early days. They are ready to give anything. But the moment they have gotten married to you, and in fact, they now relinquish themselves of every responsibility, and then remind you of what they have been spending from the initial stage. So it's good to be very careful. Me, not only even to the person who is spending, you as a woman, you must be careful to build a hedge around your life so that you are not influenced by, look at the issue of authority Apostle Ambe was talking about. So you want to sell yourself, you want to sell your rights in order to receive money so that the person will exercise authority over you. No, you must at least have a dignity. Don't enter a relationship as if you are a victim, or you are beggarly in the relationship. Women who know their value, they don't enter into relationships. They don't enter into relationships because they are like maybe they are running late. Enter into a relationship with the mindset that you to have something to offer in the relationship as a woman. Else you enter into it, and because resources are coming your way, you end up being treated in the relationship anyhow. I don't think there's any woman out there who want to be treated like toilet tissue because they're giving you money. I don't think so.
Okay. Good evening. Once more, Mr. Liu, this is an experience. What if you invest in a girl and now she's working, and you decide to also upgrade yourself since you are now financially down? She tells you it's not love she will eat, Bless is writing from Bomenda. This one says, good evening, Mr. Leo. Does it mean that even if you pay part of a girl's bride price without court marriage, you can still be considered not married? This one says, I had a case in my church when a man refused a woman because she could not give birth and he has to divorce her. So what happens to that? Okay. Hello to this wonderful entire crew. I am Barbara from Ndop. This thing is a two-sided part. What about men that spend millions on concours? To be sincere, sir, do you mean you won't spend on your lady? Some girls too, please learn to walk. Seriously, a relationship is not a job. When a girl has a challenge, please, dear men, ask how much she has in hand. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. For me, I don't rely on men because I have my hands to work. Even I ask, he will not give, so I work for myself. So no man order me around. Janet is writing from Bafusam. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Thanks for the topic. I have a girl. I've asked her out. She accepted. I do all she asked me, provide her needs, but she hates coming to my house. What should I do? Walters is writing from Limbe. Walters, wisdom is profitable to direct.
Walters, let me answer you.
Once they take care of a woman, are they children or disabled?
You. I hate your company. It's a scammer.
Okay. Greetings to all the panelists. I'm so impressed with the topic. I salute Apostle Ambe in a special way. Some of these guys even go further to stop you from putting your dressing your parents bought that they don't like it, of which they have not given money to buy the one they like. So some guys spend heavily as a result to compensate you for time wasted. Yvette is writing from Kribi. Good evening, Mr. Lee. I do enjoy the program. What proved to you that if you take care of this woman when you have got marriage to her, you will last with her? Okay. Janet is writing from Yaoundé. Yes. Good evening to all of you in the studio. I totally disagree with the talking point, Mr. Kum. What we need to know is that nobody is owing anybody when we are in a relationship. Understanding that gift is a form of appreciation. That's why we give even to normal friends that are girls, not only partners in love. My girlfriend has never asked me for anything over 3 years today, and that's because I made it clear to her before our relationship. I know my level in her providings rather than taking over her parents' responsibility. Okay. Good evening to you, Mr. Leo, and to everyone in the studio. I love today's program. It is very enriching, but I wish to ask, in case where the man is not spending, neither is he doing things that guarantees you both getting married, what becomes of your faith? Good evening, Mr. Leo and the apostles. Please, I wish to ask if the man promised your parents that after the marriage he will forward your education, and after you people get married, he said he will not sponsor you again. What should you do as the wife, since he was afraid to sponsor while you were still with your parents? Philman is writing from Idea. That is why they're also encouraging women. This aspect, is that not why they encourage women themselves to learn a trade, engage in businesses? Because you see that your husband promised sending you to school, and when you get married, he succeeded and you are now home, he says he's not sending you to school. But if you are financially empowered, you would really not care about whether he gives or not. Like Janet, our sister in Bafusam, says that if I ask, he will not give. So I'm hustling.
Yes, Mr. Leo, first and foremost, we have repeatedly said on this platform that marriage is not a job opportunity. A relationship is not an employment. So don't enter into a relationship thinking that you're going to earn a salary and be given certain privileges as somebody who is being employed into an institution. No, you are entering into a relationship to share tears, share pains, share joy, share riches, share sorrow. So when you enter into a relationship, both of you are going to carry the burdens of the relationship. We are saying that as you enter into any relationship, don't go with the mentality of just going to receive. Also go with the mentality to contribute. But you see, when it comes to our African society, the responsibility, we are being groomed to understand that a man exercises authority not in shouting. He exercises his authority in accepting responsibility. And I can tell you with all sincerity, even married people who are in homes, No matter how much the woman loves the man, sometimes when the man is unable to meet up the basic needs of the family and the children, he loses that authority. And that is the reason why the society has given that impression. You may think the woman is rebellious, you may think she's bad. In the number of 100 women, if their men are not working very well, at least 20 will still respect them. 80% of those men will disrespect their husbands. It's the same when a girl comes into your life in a relationship. If you have to exercise your authority as a man, it's the capacity to show up when the girl has certain needs. That's what we are saying here. But now for somebody you are not married to, you are not permitted to spend huge sums of money and even going to the extent of reaching the family. No. To me, when it comes to relationship, it ends between a man and a woman. Now when it comes to the marriage, now you extend now to the girl's family, because it is in marriage where families are brought in. When it comes to relationship, it ends between a man and a woman. So two of you can manage at that level. You must understand that the girl also has things that she's offering in that relationship. As a matter of fact, you are closing the, if you are not going to marry her, you are closing the door for he that wants to marry her. It should be compensated. In that relationship, you are also exhausting her beauty. It should be compensated. In that relationship, you are exercising command and authority over her. It should be compensated. So we should not think that when you are going out with a lady, she's just some piece of material that you use to experiment your life.
Yeah, but
to learn. No, Mr. Lo, let me learn.
I want to cue you. I want to cue you.
Yes.
I'm not taking that. I'm saying that why do we have this impression that when you are going out with a woman, you are using her? Is it not a relationship where you all consented to work together in love? Where is this coming
I like
from?
when people talk like this.
Yes.
We all learn. We will learn. Don't worry yourself. You and I know.
Yes.
You and I know very well that a woman easily wears away when it comes to any relationship issues. Let us not, these are things that are very real. When we come on TV, people want to try to twist it and try to make it as if we will try to.
She wears away because of the man?
A woman, Mr. Liu, you and I who have got a relationship with young girls who came with pointed breasts.
Yes.
After a month or 2 or 3, the breasts lost their position.
It's our fault.
It was whose fault?
It's our fault.
You cannot say that.
It cannot be our fault. No,
Say that.
it cannot be our fault.
Men also have their own way.
You
They work
can
out.
get a girl and the
Working
girl
good
become
and they work with the
younger.
money.
Yeah.
It's not that their own is not
There are
visible.
girls that are in a relationship and they are growing younger because they have peace. They feel love.
What?
The guy is at Kanyabasi with an engine on a truck and
on
pulling.
the sun,
Mr.
getting
Liu,
older.
that
His
man
waist
does
is
not need
disconnecting.
any girl to push engine and Kanyabasi. He doesn't. Don't go and blame that girl for nothing. In the presence or the absence of that girl, he is pushing engine
that
and
girl- that girl
Kanyabasi.
needs
He
money
has
from
to
Gandhi.
eat. He has to dress. Without that girl coming in his life, he has a family that he has to cater for. Una stop it to the talk of
But
the
there's
family.
something
So
in
the girl doesn't have a family.
That what?
He doesn't have his own person in the family that can take care of him.
What?
The girls come
The girl fight for this guy.
He's responsible.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let's go out of the relationship matter.
Yeah.
Have you not seen people commercializing sex?
People like which gender?
Which gender?
Sex.
Are you not see? Go to Musa Diana. Which
Male or
gender is
female?
commercializing?
Which
Men.
gender?
There are women.
There are also men too.
Men.
There are men also who are doing.
Yeah.
Who are doing what?
Commercializing sex now.
How?
Men are trying.
Hey!
Which place?
Yeah,
Police Buala.
Yeah, Apostle.
There are men who are, in fact, they do the home delivery.
Let me ask you a question. All the prostitute joints in this city, who are gathered there?
The men do home delivery, Apostle.
Who home delivery? You must be that you are talking here. When you want to be a man, be a man.
No, see,
You are approaching a girl that you love the girl and you want to stay with that girl, you want to spend time with that girl. In your mind, you're not even thinking of getting married to that girl.
Based on what you are saying, Apostle Ambe, it means as long as I'm in a relationship and I'm not having sex, I have the right to not give money, right?
That what?
As long as I'm in a relationship, I'm not having sex.
Because
I didn't
it's
mention
what they are
only
looking at.
sex. Your presence in that girl's life closes door for other opportunities to come in.
Is it not closing doors
No, 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 no.
for the man?
For women. You must be realistic here. You must be realistic. You are arguing now to win or to teach.
Okay, excuse me. I want to come back.
Yes.
A relationship is a relationship, a business venture, an opportunity, or a mutual understanding between a man and a woman to share in love.
It is a mutual understanding between a man and a woman
to love
and to love with interest.
All those other things.
Mr. Liu, every relationship has interest. Okay. Take it from my mouth. Reverend Kenneth will confirm. Apostle Alfred will confirm that every relationship has interest. Okay. Even when it comes to marriage, you want to marry a girl, you don't just marry that you love. You look at, apart from that love, there are other things you find which are interest in the relationship.
Okay. Yeah. But the challenge with the interest is when it is selfish. I want to say this.
You are talking this thing as if all the interest is righteous. Yes. There are many people who married with selfish interest. Yeah, talk about interest.
People that who enjoy sex more is women. Women enjoy sex more. I'm not talking about when they meet too many people. I'm talking about when they meet somebody who can do it very well. So in a relationship, you satisfy a woman sexually, and then again you satisfy her financially, and then again you take care of her family. Then you say that you are wasting the time of that woman. Do you know that sex is relieving? It releases stress and it releases youthful hormones.
From who?
From the man to the woman. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Yes.
Biology here today.
Now.
This biology you are talking don't exist.
How can you be saying this?
That biology Apostle Alfred is teaching there is in no biology book.
Have you not seen a girl immediately she starts dating a boy, she starts protruding and start having freshness? Have you not seen these things?
Oh.
A small girl in a quarter, she was just moving anyhow, but immediately she started dating a guy, a reasonable guy. She started looking fresh, she started doing her hair, she started doing some kind of thing, and you now say that she's wasting her time.
See nowadays.
Now,
these are romantic as a
the girls benefit from these boys a lot. The girls benefit from these boys a lot. Benefit a lot because some of them find pleasure in having someone that can care for them, someone that can talk to them. They also use some of these boys as their protection, because sometimes these boys, the presence in the life of these girls serves as a protection. People cannot do anything or talk anyhow to her because they know that they always see her with a particular guy, and that's the respect they are giving. Now, there are so many girls that are already crossing the age of 28, 29, 30 and above. For them to have a guy in their life who is like in a serious relationship is a pride. You always hear them say, I'm in a serious relationship. They do not only say it, they go to the internet and write it that I am in a serious relationship, to tell you that they are proud of having a good relationship. Now, a woman is proud when she can have someone that can talk to her. Now, when a woman reach an age and no man talks to her, she feels traumatized and she starts getting old and depressed. That is how it is. So you see that this thing is two-way. It's two-way. You don't just get to a point and begin to say that after all I have done for you, you're doing it. And you want to assess what she has done for after all. She's talking about sex. She's talking about maybe we were cooking food and eating. When you cook food and you are eating, it's both of you that eat that food. When you take care of the environment where both of you spend time, it is for your own good too, because you are also spending all those time. So that is what we are trying to say, that never commercialize relationship. Don't make it to be a business venture. Don't make it to be something that it is a win something. It should be a win-win, not a win. Yes.
Thank God that. Yes. Do you know that in most relationships, when a girl
please let me just finish this thing now. Now listen to this. Always define your relationship. Define it. Define what you want in a relationship. Do you just want companion, or you want marriage? Do you just want somebody to protect you, or you just want somebody in your life so that your friends will also know that you are there? Because some people enter into relationship for peer pressure. My friend get his own, the one get his own. If I might just get someone from my corner, maybe say me too, I get my own. Now that is why so many girls enter into relationships. And now you will be hanging. That's why you see somebody will say that, did I ever tell you that I will marry you? Let me tell you something. When you give a man the privileges of a husband for a man who is not married to you, what do you expect? You are already telling the man that I love you for marriage. You can't be washing his dress. You can't be taking care of his bed sheets. You can't be taking care of his food. You can't be taking care of all those things. And then you say that, no, did I accept to you that I will marry you? What do you mean by that? And that's why I want any boy, don't go and engage into any relationship and start doing husband things to the girl. Doing husband things. Instead of you to behave, to deal like boyfriend and girlfriend and remain at that level, you go to husband things, and then tomorrow you begin to tell her that, no, I did not tell you that I will marry you. The things you were doing spelled out clearly, because some of them you even introduce yourself to the family of this girl. You introduce yourself to all the friends of this girl. Then you get up tomorrow and you begin to tell us that, no, did I tell you that I will marry you? Because you have seen another younger one who is fresh and have hips and all the things that you are thinking about. Let me tell you, human being has some gods behind them. Nature fights for them. Justice fights for them. God fights for them. Now, when you go and hurt women or you hurt men, at the end of the day, you will pay for it dearly. Many people are suffering today in their marriages because of how they hurt women, how they hurt men. Let me tell you something. Define your relationship, whether it is a relationship of fun. If you enter into it for fun, please remain for fun. Don't go and begin to carry out husband and wife issues and add it to it. It will become a problem.
Okay. The love doctor. How do we build a community where a boy and a girl are engaging in a relationship, knowing that it is a give and take, or it is a complementary venture where the man cares for the woman and the woman cares for the man, and that the objective is to build a lasting union and not necessarily a venture where almost every problem from my grandfather, from my brother, from my this, and do we also know that it saps the man? It saps the man, and many women may not have known. Somebody just wrote to me that many women are crying that nobody wants to stay with them, just because once the man comes around them, they start asking, and the man goes away. The next one comes, they start asking, and then the man goes, and the cycle continues.
Mr. Leo, it is sad that you cannot greet an average girl nowadays without... Now, I was talking one day to some girls. I said, some of you don't know how many helpers you have driven with your expressions. You just greet a girl. How are you today? Where? Say, man, na 3 days now, sir. My rubber I don't finish.
And the guy is turned off immediately.
See, you know, just imagine it. My gas just finishing.
I'm working for 1 month.
Yeah, now gas. You see, they don't understand what it is, and sometimes it's not because the guy cannot help. Are you understanding me?
The guy just leaves.
I've just said here. I've said it many times. I cannot be going somewhere with a load, and you become the load I add to my load to get to that place. You should help me carry the load so we get there faster. And this is a practical reality which we are trying to communicate. And that is why we are doing our best to ensure that people don't live here with the wrong idea. You will hear in an average relationship, a girl will get up and say, thank God, sir. You hear most of the time a girl say, after all I did for him, he did not marry me. Or after all I did for me, he can end up. Check. More than 80% of what she's talking about is sex. Few girls will be talking like that. That is even resources. Few. More than 80% is talking about sex. That means after all I did for him. Because subconsciously, I told one lady one time, I said, some of you are the ones who have valorized sex and have even made some of the guys feel like it's a victory when they have it. Yes. So, he said, after all I did, then you will hear now. Yeah, girl, make a statement. Thank God, sir, I'm not be sleep with you. Now 6 months, and I can easily walk away because I didn't do that. So you will discover that it has become a bargain. I satisfy your sexual need, you satisfy my financial need. And at the end of the day, they are not different from those girls that stand on the road. That's why you see even in university, they call them runs.
Yes, run girls.
Runs. A girl will sit in the house and she's always receiving call only from 9 p.m. and above. For visiting, come, I want to go outside. You know, a girl will say, I want to go to a program. Sometimes man go come out with rent. I've heard girls say it. Say, I think go come, I think turn so, hey, now boy, that friend, I think go come so my rent. Now that's how that's how they operate. Now you would see strange behaviors amongst that because we have created a community that feels like we are the ones who are gaining something and they are not gaining anything. So again, we openly ask, what am I gaining in the relationship? So if I put myself under the authority, or everybody will submit to the something that the person must be financially more than us. So I think we have to be making very clear that this is two adults consenting to be together, and even men start getting more stressed because, for example, even in relationships wears a person extra effort. So I want us to be very clear to make it to understand here that a relationship will get better when both of you can bring something to the table. It must not be equal in terms of resource or whatever it is, but bring something to the table that you can be proud of to say this. If not, at the end of the day, you will hear most girls in Boya weekend, they can never be around town. They are always going somewhere. A place you can never explain where they are going to.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to all the panelists. Being faithful to your partner is a decision. It's very possible for a man to stay with one woman. It's even double or triple expenditure to keep more than one woman. This is writing from Kumba. Good evening to you, Daisy. Glad to read from you this evening. Dear panelists, you people are straight to the point. This is the only time that I have sent you people bring Apostle Ambe to reason. Okay. I don't know what you mean by that. Good evening, great men. What about a guy who has sent a girl to school and promised the girl marriage, and the girl is willing to marry him, but now he's the one drawing back because of other girls? Ndong Belinda is writing from Tombe. Yes, that is why they say he should not invest now. If he's drawing back and he has invested, he's the one to lose. Yes. Thanks so much, sirs. I'm very much grateful for this program and learning more. Greetings to you all in the studio. What happens to a guy you are dating and you aren't demanding from him when he has the money but you don't want to stress him? Then you suddenly discover he has other ladies when he told you it's only you he's dating. What happens if you are in such a situation? That is, he's cheating. We have discussed cheating here. Greetings to you in the studio. Spending on women before marriage is forbidden. I'm Simon Peter writing from Alabukam. Greetings to you in the studio. Spending on, okay. Hello to you all. Tabi from Limbe. What if the woman is doing the same thing to the man? This one says, you guys are so interesting, but I need to make this clear to everyone that any money spent in a relationship is a wasted money. No gain, only loss, okay? Good evening to you all in the studio. The topic is an interesting one, and for me, I think that spending on a woman before marriage is good, but to an extent it is bad. This is because the girl may tend to take it granted. Too much of everything is a disease. Good evening to you all in the studio. Just like women, men also wear out, but it's just because that of a woman is easily visible. Okay? Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to panelists on board. The topic is interesting. I agree with Apostle Alfred, Esingie Manfred, writing from Big Mbadi. Good evening to you all in the studio. It's Petra from Yaoundé. The topic for today is very interesting. Normally, a man needs to spend on his lady and not really spend on the family, but support if he likes once in a while, because if he has paid all the requirements which he has asked to, it will not be his likeness to assist. Okay. Hi, Mr. Liu. Is Mahendra writing from Tombe. Just want to say that I'm enjoying your program. Good evening, Mr. Leonard and the four wise men in the studio. Help a lady when she is in trouble, and she will only remember you when she is in another trouble. Assist a lady moderately when necessary without any strings attached. Annie Remy is writing from Abakwa. Good evening, dear panelists. Thanks a lot, Apostle Ambe, for the point you expressed. A man is with you, wants to enjoy all the benefits of a relationship, doesn't provide any for the woman. The woman goes overboard to provide, but all what she receives are insult. Priscilla from Pamenda. Yes, the issue is the man is in a relationship and is receiving and does not want to spend. Spending on what?
That that issue of receiving, what is he receiving in the first place? That's the question. When they talk about a man is in a relationship and is receiving, which is this thing they're talking about?
Yes.
What is the man receiving?
What is he receiving?
I want to just say that this issue goes either way, whether it's the woman spending or it's the man spending. I want to go back to the fact that if you are doing it, it's an ex gratia. It is not something you are obliged to. Do it with your good heart. And then, I also want to disagree with the aspect of saying that you should limit it between the two of you, like one viewer has written, and Apostle Ambe said it. You won't be somebody in a relationship and maybe there is a situation in the family that needs financial intervention and the person is all moody, the person is all worked up, and then you say you ignore, and when the person needs money for herself, you give. Yeah. It will not go. That kind of arrangement it's not feasible. It will only be feasible if you had made the base, everything, the situation is cleared. Let it be clear that whatever I am doing is just an assistance I am giving. I'm not obliged to. When it is clear, one viewer said it, and I am happy with the way he put it. Say, I made it clear from the onset that you are not my obligation. So for 3 years, the woman is not asking anything. But we are not also encouraging men to be in a relationship and be stingy.
No. That's very bad.
Don't be stingy in relationships. Be able to share. Let it be a two-way matter. But if it is already coming across as if you have an obligation because somebody is trying to tell you of what one God knows what sacrifice she is making, that's where you also have to make things clear. There is nothing like they are sacrificing the relationship and you are not sacrificing. And this also takes us back to the fact that people should understand when you are in a relationship which is before marriage, it should be treated as a relationship, a premarital relationship. Don't begin to live as husband and wife already. The issue of moving from going and cooking in the man's house, going and cleaning his dresses, is not your husband. Stop all of that nonsense.
And they start demanding for money.
And then you start demanding. Are you a house girl or are you a pressing? You are not a pressing. There is no apostle. There is something. There are two things. There are two sides of the coin. No, it's not about churches. Apostle.
These are realities we are hallucinating here.
This is not a church matter.
You are hallucinating.
No, this is not a church matter, Apostle. This is not a church matter. This has nothing to do with the church, because when people start, when somebody starts going and working in a man's house and it doesn't end in marriage tomorrow, will you not hear this issue of all for all I have done? I don't work. I've been working. I've heard women say it. They say I gave him money. Some will maybe package their few resources, give to the man. The man puts in a business. The business falls, or the man takes an income and is feeding other women with it. At the other time, I've even spoke of a case here where a lady took a loan from a bank.
You know that what you're saying is
wrong.
wrong.
Was doing business with the man. When they were doing they were doing business together, and at a certain point in time, the lady only came to other. The man was married. Yes. So no, there is a difference between accepting a reality which is not good and accepting a reality that is not good. The fact that it is happening in society and it's not a good thing does not mean that we should applaud it. We are wanting to straighten the things. It is not a good thing, so people should know that it's a wrong thing. So because some are in error, not because they wanted to be in error. It's just because they
borrow to take care of a woman.
Yes.
They even steal to take care of a woman. All that kind of thing.
No.
The pressure is too much.
Apostle.
Let me take two messages and then you come in, Apostle. Good evening to you in the studio. In my opinion, relationship now comes with conditions. It is a pity, but we need to do better. Let's be sincere to ourselves. Relationship is responsibility. We know it's wrong for a lady to depend on a man, but if you are in a relationship with someone and they can't provide 10% of your needs, then it's not worth it. It's for both gender. Like we are here to support each other financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and otherwise. When the needs arise, even if the girl or the guy is working, we just need to show that responsibility that we have someone we care about. This is Brixton Conrad writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you, sir. What if a woman is not too demanding, but she's beating the man now, and how can we handle such? Yes. I'm Pastor Divine writing from Malabo. Good evening to everyone in the studio. I'm Gillian writing from Yaoundé. I think any expenditure in a relationship should be for gifts and not heavy expenses. Any lady demanding that the man takes full responsibility will be a complete liability even after marriage. Women who have something doing or earn, no matter how small, would not be a burden to the man. Good evening, Mr. Liu. If you married a woman traditionally and pay her bride price, is that not marriage? Is Nino for writing from your that's marriage, please? Good evening to all the panelists. Please, Apostle Alfred should answer this question for me. Please, can heavy compensation be given to a mother of your child because you have a child with her? Evelyn is writing from Baba Wandop. Good evening to you people in the studio. Much thanks to you people for this program. It is really hard nowadays to find a God-fearing woman. No matter how much you spend or show true love to a lady, she will never be satisfied. Women have been moved by environment we live in, a generation where women accept men for what they are, not home. They are, in fact, sir, the street is empty. When it's concerned of women are very materialistic or do many pretend, but okay, your message not too clear. Good evening to all of you in the studio. The topic is very interesting and educating. All speakers are making good contributions. But Apostle Ambe is speaking the gospel truth as far as men and women relationship is concerned. For me, any serious relationship between a man and a woman without sex can never be a serious one. Okay. Are they brothers and he's asking that are they brothers and sisters? Any relationship must be defined from beginning. That's my take. Man is writing from Bamenda. Yes. Are they brothers and sisters?
Listen. Let me clarify. You will come. You will come in. Listen, we are pastors. Within the Christian cycle, we don't tolerate sex before marriage. That one is clear. Take it from our mouth. Not in our churches, not in our conventions, not in our seminars shall we ever teach that sex before marriage is tolerated. We don't accept that. But for the fact that we are talking people already into so many things, for the hardness of your heart, we are now trying to communicate in such a way that if you're already in that shoe, learn to behave this way. Secondly, some of our panelists said here that when you are in a relationship, you might don't have to wash his clothes. You don't have to do anything. It's only a prostitute that you pay for the night. It's only a prostitute that you pay for a night that you will not want her to come and wash your clothes or clean food your house or cook you food. So what do we do? Listen. Let us just be sincere. Let's stop hallucinating here. Let's not act like we are coming from another planet. Please. Even these people are talking here when they are not known Jesus. They will be giving keys to guests while going to work. Say, pastor has right there, cook. Now they have come here. They are making at those who making as if those who are into it are demons. Please. When people are building that, most people enter into a relationship with the intention of getting married tomorrow. Most people. Unforeseen circumstances sometimes come along the line and separate them. Some even go to the extent of having living in the same house, like the cow we spoke about here, cohabiting. You don't expect such a person not to cook, not to wash dresses, not to clean the house. Even the ones who come and visit and go, sometimes the girl has a key to the man's house, even though she's living with her parents. She comes there from 10 hours, the guy is not there, clean the house. No doubt, it's only a prostitute.
No doubt she'll say, well, I don't suffer for you.
Yes, I don't suffer for you. Those things are always there. It's only a prostitute you can meet for a night and pay for a night and go your way. But when you are building a relationship with somebody, even if you're not going to get married with a person, both of you are intimate, all those things are bound to manifest. Please, let's not behave as if every girl will meet in a relationship is a prostitute that you are paying for. Now you tell her, no wash my clothes, no cook my food, don't clean my house, you are just temporary. And I've always said it on this platform, always define a relationship from the very beginning. If it is heading towards marriage, yes, fix it towards the direction. If it's not heading towards marriage, both of you should know. Because sometimes individuals come into a relationship with all their heart thinking that will end up in marriage, and then the pain comes when you begin to lose what you were expecting. For instance, your expectation was married, along the line, I'm not longer interested. But if I thought the person did not promise any marriage to you and didn't make any proposal, When you are in that kind of relationship, be floating in the air, knowing fully whether at any time it can break. But when somebody comes and say, I'm not coming here to joke with you, I'm coming to get married to you, I want us to build a family and build a life together, that one is different. If such a person turns out tomorrow to tell I'm not getting married, that's betrayal now. But most of us, sometimes we enter into a relationship, we don't even define the relationship. Then when the person says, I'm walking out tomorrow, it becomes a crime. No, getting into an affair with you doesn't mean that I must get married to you. Except it is properly defined. This is what I want to drive home to the heart of every young man or woman who is in a relationship. There's a young man who has written here that demonstrate his message, come this thing from comment, say, did you tell Apostle Ambe that he missed it today? So he sent it to you, didn't get it.
There are so many messages, there are there are hundreds of.
So he sent it to you, you didn't get it. So he sent it to me to read that I missed it. So I want to read it that I missed it.
The messages
I will satisfy him.
I have hundreds of messages. It's really difficult to read. At times when you tell people that you receive so many messages and they may not believe you, but if you were in Prime WhatsApp group, I am making everything possible to make sure that we see what the people think about what we are discussing out here.
Yes. Please tell Apostle Ambe that he missed it today. What about the case of a man who has done what we usually call in Cameroon knockdoor?
Please, we have to be brief because
this thing that you just said, that is what most men are using to trap women now. They take you and go and do knock door, and you are comfortable and you start giving birth to 3 children, 4, 5 children. That thing is still a friendship, it's a relationship. It has not entered into marriage. Even if they have gone and done traditional marriage, always ask that they go and do court marriage. A lot of people don't want to do court marriage because they have the tendency of leaving you tomorrow or marrying another woman. That is what it is today. A lot of them. Now, this particular girl was trying to ask that should a man who has a child with a woman compensate the woman heavily? Let me tell you something. They're compensating you for what? That child is your child. It's your future. I want to say that every woman that has a child is a blessing. Please concentrate on your child and raise your child. That is your retirement benefit. If you raise your children well, you will benefit from them tomorrow. Stop thinking that it is the responsibility of a man to take care of a child. Concentrate and build your life. The first thing is that you made a mistake to disgrace your family and go and start sleeping with a man when they have not yet married you. So you want that they should compensate you for your foolishness. No. No woman gives birth to a child without knowing. There is nothing like a mistake. Every woman knows her menstrual cycle and they know when they are unsafe and when they are safe. So if a woman gets pregnant, it means she deliberately got pregnant. So no compensation for anything or whatever. But the man should take care of the children.
Yes, you have a word for TLC?
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. I just want to welcome the entire population. This coming week, from the 2nd of November to the 5th of November at Chariot Hotel, Boya, we shall be having the biggest youth exhibition in the nation. It shall be amazing. The Light Convention. We are gathering as a nation, as a people, as young people, to shine the light in us in different aspects. Over 13 categories will be represented: music, fashion, dance, comedy, art. It's a mega exhibition and training sessions. We shall be training and empowering the people with capacity building trainings and all of that in their careers and in the different aspects of their life. Last year we gathered over 500 to 600 people in that mega event, and we were glad even people like Apostle Alfred, Esingie, visited us in that last edition. And this year, one of the speakers who will be speaking at that training session is Apostle Dr. Ambe Valentine, along other people like Mr. Jonathan, that's aka Star Daddy, Mr. Clifford, and the divisional officer of Boya, His Excellency Abba Abdurrahman. It's going to be amazing. Training sessions in the morning from 8 to 1, and in the evening we gather for the mega exhibitions from 4 p.m. red carpet, and then the show starts at 5. Come and see what Cameroon is made of. Come and see selected, gifted individuals coming from all over the nation experience both the trainings and the exhibitions. You shall love it. It's going to be amazing, and we just want to welcome everyone. Tickets are available, ranging from 5,000 francs, 15,000 francs, 5,000 regular, 15,000 francs for VIP, 25,000 francs for VIP couple. We have a table for 2 for 50,000 francs, a table of 5 for 100,000 francs, and a table of 8 for 500,000 francs. So you are much welcome. You can get to me for more information on 67552-8266, 67552-8266. Let's meet next week in Boya Chariot Hotel.
We want to say thank you for coming to a Reverend. We are out of time.
My utmost pleasure, Mr. Leo. We just want to encourage young people that they should be responsible. They should make sure they get into relationships not as victims. They should get into relationships as people who have value to be able to contribute to the other person's life.
Thank you all for watching this edition of the program. We want to thank Eli and Desmond for production, Tabitha and Bryant for supervision. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.
Black n'est pas sombre, c'est brillant. Black est